What up, and welcome to the Eyeball Podcast. And listen, man, y'all, I told y'all, man, we switching platforms all the way around. We got the Coach's Corner going on. We got the Eyeball Podcast going on. We got the Eyeball TDB Live going on. And right now, I got my guy, Terry Drake, on with me, man, about to interview one of the coaches in the building today from Lawson State Community College, Coach Scott Carter, the head coach. Coach, thank you for taking time out to hang out with us right now. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I appreciate y'all having me over.
Hey, awesome. First of all, thank you for showing up to this combine. But the number one question I want to ask you, is coming into an environment like this, right? This is something that is new to the state of Alabama. Kind of talk about how your thought process when coming in here and evaluating some of the talent that's in the building.
One of the biggest things that I like to watch for, I don't just watch games. I always go out to watch practices whenever I get a chance because I want to see what their habits are, and I want to see, because a lot of coaches used to have this mentality that, oh well, I can get them to do things that maybe they didn't do before, and I learned a long time ago I can't do that.
Right.
If they're not going to listen to their high school coach, if they're not going to listen to their AAU coach, if they're not going to work hard for them, why would they walk in 3 months later and work hard for me? So, you show me who you are, how you handle everything. Like, if you walk in here and one of these coaches is giving you something to do, if you're not taking each rep of that as hard as you possibly can, then are you really trying to get better? Are you going through the motions?
There it is.
So what I'm that's why I like this. I like this setup. I like this type of event because you can really evaluate who are you as opposed to what is your potential.
Right.
Potential is a great thing, but I want to know who you are.
Right. And that's different in this type of setting. So kind of piggybacking off of what you just said, kind of talk about how you evaluate this type of event and an AAU event where it's just 5-on-5 and it's got a bunch of guys just going up and down. Kind of talk about the difference in how you evaluate there and how you would evaluate in a gym where you could say, like you say, see a lot of guys' individual characteristics.
So in here, I'm going to try to get my eyes on as many of the guys doing certain reps. And then I kind of keep an eye, okay, I like the way this guy approaches it. At an AAU event, obviously during the course of the game, I'm watching things. But once I identify a guy that, okay, this is a guy I want to watch, I literally narrow down on him. And I'm watching every single movement he makes. When he walks off the floor, how does he interact with his coach? How does he interact with his team? After his game is over, people think I'm crazy because I'm standing over and off in the corner watching them walk out of the building. Wow. How does he handle that? Everybody now, because everybody watches the NBA, they do all this, and everybody wants to pose and do all this. I want to see okay, if you just dunked on somebody, do you have to show them up, or can you turn around and get back and play? Because the game ain't stopping just because you made a play. So, I want to see everything, because one of the things another thing I learned a long time ago as a coach is I have to know what I can do as a coach with that player. Because one of the problems with the transfer issue now is kids and coaches they're not fit together properly. And I know who I am. I got to coach guys that are gonna do their job. I can't sit there and force them to do their job. I'm not gonna my personality is not the kind of coach that's I'm not Bobby Knight. Where I'm gonna sit there and cuss guys out to get them to do what I want to do. I'm gonna give them the instruction, and then I got to keep going. And so I want to see, can I coach this guy? If he's going to do his job without me having to, I give him the instruction and boom, he's going to take it and go. I'm not going to yell at him. If I got to yell at him all day long to get him to do what I want, then that I'm wasting too much time.
Yeah. Wasting way too much time.
So, Coach, with that being said, you mentioned earlier in regards to the transfer portal. Now, you're coming from a perspective of a junior college, and with the transfer portal and everything taking place, what would your advice be for some of these kids out here that is looking for a high, mid-major Division I offer or a place to go, but they might need a year or two with you. So how would you? What kind of advice would you give to a kid like that?
One of the things I would tell kids right now, number one, never, ever overlook any opportunity because you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say, a lot of kids get kind of bogged down and they almost feel like halfway defeated before they ever really get started because there is so much out there in the transfer portal, and there's basically, and this is fun, one of my buddies that's currently in Division I, because I used to be in Division I, he's like, dude, we're all a JUCO now. And like, that's really true because now a kid goes to a Division I as a freshman, doesn't play, he's going to transfer. If a kid goes to a Division I, averages 15 a game, he's going to go get better NIL money somewhere else.
Yeah.
So everybody's a JUCO in that respect. So a lot of these high school kids they see, oh, well, and they kind of get bogged down on certain things. And the things that I would suggest for any of these kids is like look at the NCAA tournament, okay, and look and see what is successful. If you're doing go back to some of the basics, go back to some of the things like, just make sure you're listening to what coaches are telling you. Learn how to play basketball. One of the biggest things that as college coaches right now that I think we're missing, that we try to look for, there's not very many kids that can play without the ball in their hands. And we try to. I was with Billy Donovan at Florida for 6 years. Yeah. He was my coach at Florida. He used to have this saying, 95%. 95% of the game is played without the ball in your hands. And when you look at statistically, 50% of the game, your whole team doesn't have the ball in your hands because you're on defense.
Yeah.
What skill can we do as far as dribbling the basketball that can stop you from being elite at 50% right there?
Yeah.
And then you talk about all of the other time on offense that you don't have the ball. Does it diminish what your ability is with the ball? No, we want to make those things great. But if you can be elite at that 90% of the game that you don't have the ball in your hands, there's going to be a place for you.
And that's so interesting, Coach, because a lot of guys come into these type of situations, and like you say, we're watching guys go through drills right now. And we understand where the training game is gone when it comes to individualized. And a lot of guys get in the gym, and it's them and a trainer, and they're taking them through cones, and they're doing a bunch of dribble moves, a bunch of things that when they get on campus to you, you're not going to ask him to do. So kind of talk about those type of things. Like when you're evaluating and you're looking for a player specific to Lawson State, what type of things are you looking for so our audience can know, hey, I might want to get a chance with Lawson. Here's what Coach Carter is looking for over there.